Hello, everybody. Sorry about that. I started a Facebook live, and again, it shut me out and locked me out. I have no idea why this constantly does it. I might get 1-2 good lives in, and then I go live again. It'll start a live, and then in about 30 seconds in, it shuts me out and locks me out. I have no idea. I've contacted Facebook multiple times, and they have given me no answers to my questions or a solution. So let me get my camera set up. Let's get, oh, wrong way. Okay. Let's get some working space here. Woke up with a little bit of a sore throat this morning. Yuck. Pennsylvania weather here stinks. The normal. It's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold, it's hot, it's cold, it's raining, it's not. And no wonder people here are constantly sick. So, good morning, Teresa. So if you're here, please say hello. Let me know you're here. I promise I won't quiz you. I just like to get my feed rolling a little. And when you interact, even if you are just in the background, and every now and then you send a thumbs up or something like that, really helps my videos move along. I've noticed in my Facebook group, I have 2 Facebook groups. One's for sublimation and laser. And even though there's like over 11,000 people there, I'm only getting on an average like 150 like interactions or outreaching posts. I have no idea what's going on with Facebook anymore. I really, literally, my goal would be to drop Facebook eventually and just maybe have photos there, just so that I could look back on them, like for my kids and stuff like that, and just use it as a personal. But I would love to go to TikTok. I am over on TikTok. I would love to be able to do lives there regularly, or, you know, YouTube here, but a lot of people... Unfortunately, a lot of people, as with here, they don't register, so they can't comment, things like that. So, Instagram, I've had a few friends that have been really hacked to the point where they were hacked so much they were locked out of their accounts. So, Instagram is out for me. I've never really been a big fan of Instagram anyways, so. Good morning. Yeah, the PA weather's horrible. I literally got a sore throat, and it's on my right side, and I don't feel like my lymph nodes are swelled or anything, but I don't know. I know it's our weather. It's our weather. So let's go ahead and get moving along here. I do have a doctor's appointment at 1:30 today, so I don't think we're going to be that long, but hey, you never know. So let's get moving. I am going to show you how to use a wreath form and how to use a big roll of 21-inch mesh. Now, I have heard through the grapevine that eventually this is going to be like on the out, and I know a lot of people do not work with it anymore. 10-inch literally is my favorite as well, but that doesn't rule out the 21-inch, okay? So these are readily available, Michael's, Joann's, things like that, Hobby Lobby. I don't know if I've seen it at Hobby Lobby. But I know Michael's carries these. I see them all the time. They're always on the end caps. And I know, I don't know if Joann's does either, to be honest with you, but I know Michael's has this. So we're going to use that today. It's really not hard to use. And good morning, Nancy, Kathleen, Jennifer, Teresa. It says we have 8 people watching, so... If you haven't said hello, say hello. Just say hello. So one of the tricks I always do is when I open up a bolt, I always stick the tag down in. That way I can always refer to it later if I'm like, I really love that one. And then I have the SKU number and things like that for it. So you don't have to do that. It's just something I do. All right. So this is a wreath form, and a wreath form is a little bit different than the ones that you get at, let me show you, at like Dollar Tree, somewhere else. These ones, no, it's a little hard to see, but you see how these don't have really much of a profile, and they are literally just a wire form. Well, a wreath form is, as you can see, it has some depth, so it's tiered upward. And it's got these little pipe cleaners on, which is already really nice because they're ready to go and they kind of already give you your placement. So that's what we're going to work with today. All right. And what I do is when I start, I just take off the tags, and then I just get these all moved and fanned out to the sides just to get them out and working. And if anybody has any questions along the way, please ask. I have my computer right over here, so I'm going to watch. I like talking with you guys. You're like my friends. So I'm going to leave that just kind of tucked in. I am going to start my outside first, okay? It doesn't matter where you start. I just find it a little easier sometimes to start with the outside. All right. So all I do is let's get these out of the way. I take my mesh and I'm literally going to drop it on the floor. Let me make sure it's not super dirty down here. I have some grapevine stuff. You know what? I'm going to get a piece of cardboard and stick it down there. My floor is a little dirty and I didn't clean it today. Shame on me. All right, all I did was I just got grapevine stuff down there. So I just kind of take this and I'm literally going to throw it on the floor, on the clean floor. And it's big. So that's what we are going to be working with. And all I do is I just take this and then I just work my way in and ruffle it up until I just get a little pal like this, okay? And I'm going to just stick this in here in my pipe cleaner. And I am going to give it a good twist. 1, 2. All right. Once I get that, I kind of cut this down a little. All right. And I'm going to tuck it toward the inside. And then now all I do is I go and start doing about 10-inch poofs. All right. And the way I do that is I have this cutting mat and it's got numbers on it. It's got a number line on it, which I love because it's very useful. So if you have a workspace and you're able to get one of these, definitely I recommend it because it's awesome. So I got 10 inches. I'm just sticking this on my 20 line, number line, and then down here on my 30, I grab it. I'm going to put it into the next tie. And again, I'm going to give it 2 twist ties, all right? And here's the poof. And now I just kind of poof that as I go. Okay. And we are literally going to just continue around with our 20-inch poofs. I've got a big delay on my computer. Okay, crazy. I'm trying to see where I'm at here compared to where I'm here. Let me see if I can. I have a huge delay on my computer. There we are. Okay, so see how I'm just going around and I'm making poofs. And that's the reason I like a wreath work form, because it's really already ready for us. And it's nice because it's ready. And I'm basically just doing this the whole ways around. poof these. When you're done, you can come around and do them. I like to kind of do them as I go. And really all I'm doing is just poofing them back up. And I just give it 2 twist ties. And you're just going to do this around the wreath. And again, with Deco mesh, it's one of those things I always tell you, trust the process, okay? Because it works itself out every time. The nice thing about Deco mesh is if you are not comfortable with doing like grapevine or any other kind of wreath making, Deco mesh is really very easy to work with. It's one of those things where it looks like a hot mess in the beginning and ends up always working itself out. So don't be afraid of Deco mesh. I think that's why it became so big, such a big thing, was because it's easy to work with. Almost anybody can do it. Okay, and last one, I'm going to literally tie it in here where I had the first one, okay? So I'm going to untie that. And I'm going to stick this down in there, and I'm going to tie them both in. Okay. Now, if you wanted to, you could kind of bring that up to the middle and do it. I don't. I cut mine off. I think it looks better. It's easier to work with than to literally bring it back in around. Okay, so all I did was just cut that off there. Oh, where are we at? Right in here. Okay, and we're all poofed up, and guess what? We're going to go right back to the middle of the middle part. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to get all of these fluffed up in here, pulled up and ready to go. And there's 18 ties, so there's 9 in the middle, 9 on the outside. I think so. It's usually what it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, 9 around the outside, 9 around the inside. Okay, and again, we are going to start this the same way. All right, we're going to gather that up, and I started it over there, so let me start it right here. And again, I'm going to just do this, and I'm going to come in and cut this down. And again, I'm going to do 10 inches. And we're just going to go around and poof again. What size mesh again? This is 21 inches. So this is the big roll. And again, I'm poofing as I go. See how that's filling up nicely? Every time I'm just grabbing it and making it kind of poof together. And I say about 10-inch poofs because you want it to kind of be fluffy. If you go smaller than that, it tends to, it doesn't fill up nice. It kind of gets flat. And you really want your wreath to be full. You don't really want to be seeing through it and things like that, okay? The weather here's, it's really gloomy today in Pennsylvania. It's chilly. I think it's going up to almost 70 today, but it's chilly out. Yesterday was chilly all day long. I think it only hit like a high of 65 or something. And with the sun not being out, you know how that is. It's even chillier. And trust me, this will work out. Might be looking like a hot mess, but trust the process, as I always tell you. Okay, I'm coming around to the end again, and I'm just going to bring this into the end like I did before. I'm going to open up that pipe cleaner, and I'm going to stick this in here so that these come together. I'm going to tighten that down nicely. And then I'm going to cut this off. I remember when Deco mesh came out, pretty sure this was the only size there was. And then look, I still have enough on here. I probably only used about a half a roll that I can make another wreath from it. So from one roll of 21-inch Deco mesh, I could get 2 wreaths out of. So if you're selling, you know what that means, cha-ching. That means good profit base for you. And there's the difference between a normal 10-inch to a 21-inch, okay? This really gives you a good bang for your buck. And again, out of one roll, which I think one roll is like 10 bucks, you're going to get 2 wreaths, okay? All right, so let's just go around and make sure these are all fanned out. Okay. So there we go. We got a good start to the wreath. A nice, nice and fluffy. Okay. So we're going to put this aside. I swear I have like the never-ending sore throat. Or cold, I should say. Okay. So I found this adorable graphic on Etsy, a sign graphic, and I loved it. I love the pinks, I love the purples. This was just so summer and fun that became my inspiration piece for this. Okay, so get your inspiration from something, whether it be a ribbon, a sign, something. You do not always have to make a sign. You do not always have to have a sign with a Deco mesh wreath. I've made beautiful wreaths without any signs and just had the mesh and some ribbon. So don't feel like, oh, I got to get a sign. You don't. All right. So with that, I found this really pretty graphic. I just sublimated it because I do sublimation as well. I sublimated it onto a sign, an aluminum sign, and I loved these colors too. So we are going to take, and these two coordinate very well. So we're going to add this as well to the 21-inch. Do you have to? No, but should you? You should always add a little bit more, and I'll show you why, because you do need a little bit more fullness in there. All right, so I know I have 18. have 18 ties, all right, or 18 poofs. So I am going to cut 18 pieces of this because I want to add this into, let's see what else I have here. All right, I don't. I was going to look for some. I don't have any pink. So I'm just going to use this. All right. Let me put this up here. Maybe I can see this a little better up here. And hopefully I don't knock it off. All right. So I'm going to cut 18 of these. And I am going to do them 20 inches long. Because we're just going to get this a little bit fuller. I need to get a new blade. My blade's about had on my cutter. Hold on. So we're incorporating 21 inch and 10 inch. And I can't count and talk at the same time. So I think I've already lost my place, my count. But I know usually to have that many, we usually go through a whole roll, okay? So we did a whole roll, 20 inches. I will move these down here so that they're not in your way. All right, so we cut up a whole roll of 10-inch mesh, and we're gonna add it to my granddaughter's trying to call me. She got a new cat yesterday, a new kitty cat. So sweet. She's super excited. Okay, so we have our wreath here. And what we're going to do is what we usually do. We take it. We are going to curl up the end. And then we're just going to finger walk up it. Curl up the other end, and we are going to get like our little butterfly poofs, okay? And I'm going to okay, so I'm going to start on the outside edge, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to easily, gently untie this because I'm going to add this to the poof, okay? So I want to keep that poof in there. I just want to untie it and just tie this one in, okay? And give it like 2 twist ties, all right? And we're going to watch to see how this fills up. And we're just going to do this all the way around. Memorial Day is coming up this weekend here. If you're in the United States, we have Memorial Day. I know I got a lot of people that watch from Canada. And it is a big craft show. Here in Pennsylvania, craft shows everywhere. I'm actually going camping. We are taking our travel trailer, and even our campground has a large craft show. Am I doing it? No. Might I take some? I might take a few wreaths because it's at your campsite. I might take a few wreaths and just stick them out. I don't know. I have a bunch made up. Like my husband says, why not? They're already done. And our campsite's only a half hour away. So it's not even like I'm traveling far with them. So I don't know. It's just when I'm camping, do I really want to be dealing with that? I don't know. But I know my daughter is taking a bunch of her stuff. As you know, most of us are moving, my family and my grandchildren, a few of my children. Oops, okay, this one I got out. I didn't put in right. We are moving to Florida, August, September. So I guess the less we have to carry, the better. Okay. So we're just moving along, but look how nice this is starting to get filled. Okay, so if you see, like I'm just taking apart each one of these and just untying it and then throwing that in. But look how that's starting to fill up compared to here. And look how full that's starting to get. Okay, and that's what we love about Deco mesh. It gets nice and full. And I'm just going to continue to repeat this process the whole ways around. So does anybody have any plans this weekend? Is anybody doing a craft show? I mean, they are huge here when it comes to like Memorial Day. Is everybody still with me? Oh, going camping. Yeah, we are too. Now, do you have a travel trailer? Do you have a motorhome? You have an RV? What you got? Or are you doing the tent? You know, I used to tent years ago. Way too old for that. I would never be able to get up off the ground. You'd be able to just like stick a fork in me, I'd be done. If I had to sleep in a tent on an air mattress. Where are we at here? Oh, there we are. We have a 36-foot travel trailer. You know, it's funny because years ago, when I started camping, of course, I started out as most in a tent. Started out in a tent, and you know, over time moved into a pop-up. And I've been camping for about 28 years. I've camped almost all of my marriage with my husband and our children. You know, we're a camping family. So we started out in tents, then moved up to a pop-up, then moved up to, we had a small RV one time, a small motorhome. And then we decided that we were going to have like a permanent site. So we did that for 5 years at a campground where we were just able to, those were the early years of my husband when he was starting to, his preaching. He's a preacher. When he started his preaching, being a preacher, we went to a campground where he was the campground preacher. So that was just easier for us to be able to do a permanent site where we would just, you know, mostly everything was there, gather up some clothes, head to there every weekend. And then we did that for about 5 years, and then we moved into, went back to a travel trailer. All right, look at that, there we are. We've got the whole outer row done. Look how that's starting to fill up nicely. Starting to get really nice and thick. Real dense, and that's what we want. Okay, now if you wanted, you literally could leave the inner ring alone. I mean, there's nothing, it's really nice and filled. I'm a little extra. I'm going in and adding all of this to the inner ring. But you do not have to. Sometimes I just do the outer ring, or sometimes I just do the inner ring because it's nice and thick. Like, we don't see any holes, which is super nice. That's what you really want. You don't want in Deco mesh. You don't want to be able to see through it. You don't want holes. You want it to be really nice and full. But I'm going to go in and I am going to finish adding this. And if you chose not to, that's fine, because then you have taken that 10-inch roll. There should be 9 more of these. 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. I have 8. We're going to make it work. Yeah, this is, sometimes their rolls aren't correct and you won't get as much. You might be missing one. We're going to be missing one, but we'll hide that. No biggie. But if you wanted to, then you could take a 21-inch roll of mesh and then 1 roll of these, and you can turn those into 2 complete ones. Because do we need to have a second row in here? We don't. We don't, because once we start adding ribbon and things like that to it, we're really going to fill that up. But I'm going to use this anyways. Sorry, boss came in. We have a travel trailer. Oh, you're going outside Ocean City, Maryland. Awesome. Yeah, we have a travel trailer too. We have a 36-foot. I love camping. And we are just going to do the same exact thing. We're making these like we have down below. And we are going to do the same thing up here. We're just going to lightly untie, and we're going to add these in to where we had the others. And again, all we do is we give it a little roll in the beginning. We kind of finger walk up it and make sure we tuck that end in and roll it again, just to get those edges in so they don't fray out, because Deco mesh frays. Some people like to cut it with a wood burning tool. To me, that takes forever, and I'm lazy like that. I'm just going to be honest with you. I like instant gratification, and I am really lazy when it comes to certain things. I just don't have the patience for it. Cutting this with a wood burner, I have 0. So I'm cutting it with my rotary tool, and all I'm doing is, some designers like to just take it and roll it like this, and then roll it in like this, and then come together like this. Doesn't matter. I just tend to roll it on here, give it a roll, finger walk, excuse me, roll this in, and then grab it. Same concept. And then I tend to just fluff mine up as I go. Look how nice that's coming in. Can we see how it's really, see how I have this up here? It's already thick. It's already gotten really nice and dense. And then we're gonna fill that in around, okay? I'm gonna be 1 short, so I'll just show you what I do for that. I'm not super worried about 1. And this is nice. This one is kind of like a fabric mesh. And if you know me, I love the fabric mesh. It frays a little bit more, and that's the one that people are really like, I want to cut that with a wood burning tool. I just make sure that I kind of really tuck those in. Anybody here from Florida? Florida has some super hot weather this week. It's like the heat index is like at 100. My cousin, she lives down there, and she said, woo, it's hot. Hot, hot, hot. All right, my last three here. My daughter's actually going to be the first one down to move. We are moving around August, September, me and my husband, my daughter, son-in-law, and my two grandchildren. They are heading down. They are moving in June. Actually, the second week of June. They will be Florida residents. So they are the first two going down. They work for our business as well. So he is going down, and we will go down sometime in June as well because we need to get some of our office set up down there. So, but we probably are not going to be down there until about September. August, September. We've been moving a little bit of stuff here and there. It's been, oh, I did have enough. Okay, I must have miscounted in my head, which, that's not unusual. There's a lot that goes on in there. Sometimes it's not all good stuff. Okay, let me see. Oh, okay. I did have enough, so, okay. So then that roll was correct. All right, now look at this. Look at this. Look how nice and full that is. Isn't that beautiful? It's already beautiful in its own self. You know, don't be afraid to get through and fluff it up. Move it around. Get things moved to where it needs to be. But isn't that beautiful? Have I done and already left a wreath in just its natural state? I have. And I have no issues with doing that. Okay, I have a little wreath hanger board here that I love. And I like to check my wreaths and to see what's going on with them from like my level view, like it would be if it was hanging on a door. I bought this on Etsy. I got stuff on it, but I absolutely love this. I think I paid like $60 for it. It literally is one of the best things ever. You do not have to get something like this, but I would recommend that if you got some kind of board that even stood up, maybe an easel. Years ago, I used to work with one of those wooden easels that stood on the floor. And it would just stand here and I would work on my wreaths that way. But it really helps because what we see here looking down is not necessarily what you always see when you hang it up. Because when you're hanging it up, that's the way that you'll see it on your door, and you'll notice, oh, I've got some spots. This is a little wonky here, this isn't right there. So, yes, I love that for that reason. Especially when you get to things like your grapevines and things like that. Those kind of really, let me get this one. This one here, I must have got one not right. Sometimes you'll find that you might have one sticking out a little bit further and you didn't twist it in right. I just got one of those. Okay, that's better. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get my sign on here, okay? Sometimes I do my bow, sometimes I do my sign. I want to, actually, I'm sorry, I'm gonna do my ribbon around it, my ribbon tails, okay? Because once I get that in, then I'll place my sign on it. So let's do ribbon tails. And my bow. So that's the way we're gonna work with that. Let me get a drink. Sometimes I have a method to my madness. Sometimes I do it the same way every time. Sometimes I don't. Today, I am going to do, let's get the bow. These are the ribbons that I chose because they kind of all work with the sign that I chose. Okay? They basically have all the same colors in there that this sign has. And even though my base is purple, I've got purple pinks, like a teal in it. So I am, and the teal is really not a teal. It's kind of like this blue. So that's what we're going with. All right. And I'm actually going to do, let's do 16-inch tail. And 7-inch loops. We'll start with a 7-inch loop. I never use this spool holder because I usually got these big bolts and it gets in the way. And I'm going to do 2 loops of these. Good morning, Tyra. Okay, so got that. And we'll move on to the next. And when I do, when I'm choosing my ribbons, I usually like to have a solid, a plaid, a floral, and a polka dot. That's kind of just the standard that I kind of use. That makes sense. How do you determine the size of the loops that you're doing on a wreath? Usually for these big wreaths, I always start with 7-inch loops. And then if I move down to a smaller wreath, I will start at like 6 inches. That's just the way that I do them. So, not that it's right. Usually on my bigger ones, I go 7-inch-ish. Don't worry about getting crazy right because it's, you know, once this bows together, you'll never notice it. And if you notice, I did my first 2 tails this way. Now the rest of the way, I'm going to do 1 tail up, 1 tail down. Okay, and I'm going to alternate them. And then that'll be able to give it a little bit of movement at the top as well. I kind of never really do the same things over and over. Isn't that weird? I just don't get myself set into like a standard. Sometimes I'll put all of the tails down. Sometimes I'll put them, you know, up and around. I just don't. So let me start this one up here, since the other one was over there. And then I just make them like a 1/2 inch shorter each time as I go, my loops. Then I always kind of really push that middle down. And I did 5 different ribbons this time, so usually I like to have 5 or 6 different ones. And on a minimum, I usually like to have 3 of the 2.5 inch wide. And then the rest will be the smaller ones, because you really need to get the bulk from a ribbon, and I find that when you start using the 1.5 inch, it doesn't give you enough substance. So I like a minimum of 3 of the 2.5 inch. Okay. All right. Now all I'm going to do is grab this together with a pipe cleaner. And I'll be honest with you, probably choosing the ribbon is my hardest part of the whole designing of a wreath. And it's even worse whenever you are limited on, you know, what ribbons you have. Even I have a lot here, but sometimes I'm like, I need more. Okay, so when you're doing this, make sure that you get that center. I tell you this all the time. You want that center to be super tight, because you really want these to kind of, see how these are already standing up and I've done nothing to them? That is a very important thing that you need to do with your bows, okay? Make sure that center is super duper tight. It'll make life so much easier for you. And then just start pulling these apart. And the way I pull mine apart is the way that they should be. You should, if you pull one up to the top, you want one down at the bottom. All right, so you basically almost want to create almost X's with your ribbon. You don't want everything being all in the same, loops all being the same. All right. Let me show you what I mean. You want color spread around. And you could even mess with it a little bit more once it's on your wreath. Okay. See how we kind of got all the color spread around. And once you get it on the wreath, it'll even get better because you can manipulate it a little bit more. Once it's down in, you'll be able to manipulate a little bit more. But let's put this aside. All right. I'm going to cut some ribbon tails now. And I am going to use these two for my ribbon tails. All right. I'm going to put those together. I think that's perfect together. Yep, these two. So I do 2.5 and a 1. And then I'm going to do this one. And I'm not really wanting to do this one with it. This is a very expensive ribbon. So let me see if I have more of a solid in my collection that will work. And that's close enough. I have a solid, so I'm going to put a solid with this, okay? You could do 2 patterns. That's not a problem. That's not an issue. But I want to kind of make sure this matches. Yeah. I'm going to just do a pattern and a solid and a pattern. And even though that's a solid, that's a linen, so it's kind of got a little bit of a pattern to it. All right. And I'm going to cut 14-inch loops. And if you've never used a ribbon board, they're wonderful for that. And we're going to need 18 of these. So I'm going to do 18 of these. Actually, I'm going to do 9 of this set and 9 of the other set, okay? And a ribbon tail board just makes it so that 1, 2, 3, 4. I got this all messed up. 5, 6. Somehow I had that all curled. So it just makes it so that all your loops are the same. And it makes life easy. Or you're cutting them all. And I do have this available if you're ever looking for one. I do have them in my shop. So we have 9 of these. Set those aside. Do 9 of these. Of these. I'm sorry, I cannot talk. And you could pull these off and cut them. We actually had our camper. Our camper's actually in the shop. My husband just checked on it today. We were getting an extra air conditioner put on because it only has 1 air conditioner. So we were getting an extra air conditioner put on it. And he went by it today, and it actually looks like, let me get this started here, that they have the air on it. They moved the vent, so it looks like it might be ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. lost my count there. I was thinking. And you can't think whenever you're counting. I lost my train. So hopefully there's 9 there. We will find out. Let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We have 9. Okay. And one more stack. Every year for probably the past 4 years, it has rained Memorial Day. Another one of my pet peeves. You know how I hate this. When they glue ribbon together on a bolt. I'm glad it was there because I'll get rid of it. I hate that. I don't know when they started doing that. They used to never. A bolt was a full bolt. Now they just glue it. Irritates me. I don't know if it's just manufacturers anymore that are just cutting corners. Good morning. Good morning, Jessica. But them gluing bolts together is horrible. All right, so we got all of our ribbons cut, our ribbon tails. All right, so let's stick that up there. And now what I'm going to do is, just to make life easy, I am going to take these in a batch, and I am going to dovetail them now. Now, do you have to dovetail them? Nope. You could slant them if you wish. Doesn't matter. Must be done, yep. Church bells. I live right, my shop's right next to a church. And the church bells are going off. Always know when it's noon. Oh, that was a horrible cut, Char. My shop gets really warm, and it gets really cold, and it gets really warm, or it's just me. But it's on the really warm side right now. So you could do a whole stack. I tend to like to just do half because I have a hard time getting through the whole stack. So I'm hoping this weekend I see rain in the forecast already. Seems every Memorial Day for the last 4 years it has rained and been like cold. I'm talking like 40s cold. Makes great for a great campfire, but it stinks when you have all the grandkids out and everybody wants to, the pool's open, because the campground we go to has a nice pool. The pool's open, the kids want to be out on the swings all day and playing in water, and they can't because it's freezing. The one year we went, it literally snowed. Yeah. Okay, that was a lame cut. Oh, hello. Good morning, Maria. So we're just on our ribbon tails. If you're just joining in, we have our wreath base done. We used a 21-inch mesh and a Deco mesh, and then we used a 10-inch around that to fill it in, and I'll let you see that in a minute. Let's get this out of the way. I swear, no matter how much room I have, it will never be enough for me. There's actually another leaf in this table that sometimes I think about, I should probably open that leaf up. Wonder if I could just open up one. I think there's 2 leaves in there. Okay, so we got our 14-inch tails ready to go. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and start putting them in. I am going to turn up the air because I'm roasting. Or down the air. All right. And we are going to do every other one. So I made it so that these 2 were together. Okay. And here's our wreath base that we already got done. That's a 21-inch. We did 21-inch poofs all around. There's 9 on the outside, 9 on the inside, and then inside of those that we already made poofs, we attached this beautiful purple, tealish pink, or tealish blue, and a pink. All right. So now we're going to go put our ribbon tails in there. All right. And then all we do is we just take it like this, fold it in half, scrunch up that center, and we are going to go around. I'm going to work from the bottom up, and we are going to untwist that tie again. I know we got a lot of stuff in those ties, and we are just going to put this down in, and we're going to tie it up. All right. And then what you do is you take your tails, and you're going to just fan them out, and they are going to go opposite of each other. All right. So opposite of each other to where you like kind of make an X. All right. And we are literally going to do that all around. We are going to alternate our ribbon. Now with Deco Mesh is one of those great things that you can market for places such as like Florida, places that get really hot and they have the sun beating on them. Because Deco Mesh and hot glue do not really go well together anyways. So therefore, most of the stuff that you will have will be attached. You will be using attachments. So you will be using these fancy pipe cleaners that they have in here that we attach to. All right, so it's great for hot areas where they get a lot of sun, because one of the concerns for people that do get a lot of sun beating on their doors or wherever the wreath is going to be is that sun melts that glue and attachments fall off. Well, you don't have to worry about that when it comes to this, because you've literally attached everything. So that's a great way to market your Deco Mesh wreaths is, hey, everything's attached. There's no hot glue used. And a lot of people will love that. For that reason. Because the Florida sun, the Texas heat, the Texas sun, the Arizona sun, it melts that glue right up and things fall off. So think about that when you are marketing your Deco Mesh wreaths. And we're just going back through, untwisting our ties that we put all of that mesh into, and we are adding our final tails. We should have 18 tails. So this weekend is the unofficial start of summer. Yay. And one more. One more and the bottom row will be done. And then I'll go to my inner row. I have noticed that ribbon wreaths are getting a big comeback, or not even comeback. They're becoming big. They're trending right now, ribbon wreaths. I have never made a ribbon wreath. Don't know nothing about a ribbon wreath, but literally it looks like a wreath made out of ribbons. They're pretty, but I think I want to see what they are like. Maybe even see how they're made. And now we're just starting the top row, okay? Going around the inner row and working that out. And filling that in with our ribbon tails. And these are 14-inch ribbon tails if you're just tuning in. There's 18 of them. We used a wreath form, which is different than just like a wreath. This is I think I call it a working wreath form. And I just always call them wreath forms. So it's a little bit different than just like your Dollar Tree one. Just a little different. It's got some height and it's already got these twist ties on it, which is awesome. And I like that it has these ties already on them, because you always know that it has 18 spots that you're going to be working with. And you will always need 18 ribbon tails. And you will always need 18 pieces of mesh. So it just makes it really easy to work with those. Last one. Okay. So let me go around, fix these up. All right. How fun. How fun is this? Look at all these beautiful summer colors. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna hang this up. Could I leave this like this? You know me. Yep. It's already beautiful in itself. Okay, but what I'm gonna do now is, I am gonna get the sign that we have, and I'm gonna get the sign on here. All right. And I'm actually going to put this sign right in the middle. All right. So let me get my wire. I'm just going to use floral wire. You could use a pipe cleaner if you want. But for these signs, I really like to use this little tool. It's called Speed Walks, I don't know, something like that. And it literally is a puncher. And I'm gonna punch a hole. It's such a tiny punch that you can't barely even see. Sometimes you can just go ahead and, if you don't do that, you could put the little, like cable mounts onto it. I'm not gonna do that today. I'm gonna literally just use some wire. I'm just using floral wire. This is what I had here, if I can find the beginning. And I am, just because it's floral wire and I know it's hard to see, it's thin, I'm gonna double it. I'm probably gonna need my glasses for this. So I just folded it in half. I'm flattening it down a little so that I can wire it through. But can you see? Can you see that right there? But you're gonna barely be able to see this on my sign because the hole is so tiny. But that's what I'm gonna use to attach. I usually use the cable mounts to the back, but considering that I am making this so that it is not any glue or anything on it, so it can withstand the Florida heat or the Texas heat or the Arizona heat, the desert heat, I am going to make this so that it literally is going to be glue-free, adhesive-free, and we are going to have everything attached with something. Oh, did I make this one too small? No. I was just closing the end so that I can make it tight here. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is I am going to loop this around the back and I am going to attach this. I think I made this one side too. I am going to attach this down. I think we're good now. I don't need these. Okay, So literally, I have two spots where I am going to, it's wired. So I'm going to attach this with wire. And let's get these loops and these out of the way. I'm going to take this right to the middle. And I am going to feed this wire down in, and I am going to find, sometimes this is the hardest part. I'm going to find my wire frame, and I'm going to attach it in here. So sometimes this is the hardest part. Is getting this attached. Okay, one side. All I did was go through the middle and find my middle, my wire, and I'm just going to attach it there. I'm just going to wrap it around underneath through the wire, or through the frame. Okay. All right. Now that we are attached, let me go back and fix my tails. Okay. Let me hang it up, take a look at it. I can adjust it once it's up and hanging. All right, now all we got to do is, okay, so here we are. Can everybody see? All I'm going to do now is grab my bow. Here's our bow, and I am going to fasten it up at the top. I'm going to probably put it around 11 o'clock on here. And I might need to lengthen my pipe cleaners because there's a lot going on in here. So all I'm doing is just attaching another pipe cleaner to the pipe cleaner that was there. Okay, so you can lengthen your pipe cleaners. So there's a lot going on there. Let's get our bow in here, and let's find a spot to attach it to. This is sometimes the hardest part because you're kind of almost working by feel. which sometimes is difficult. Okay, where are we at? I gotta find down in where we're at. There we are. I am still not finding here. I gotta get to the top. There we are. Let me get in here. It's not letting me get in here. Sorry. Let me get down in here. Let me find a spot to get this down in. There we go. That was difficult. And let's just get this tucked around. Let's get our bow fluffed up. And this is when you could start snipping away on your ribbon. So let me get that, let me get this hung up so I can see, because I literally cannot see where I'm at here. And this is when you're going to need to hang it to see what you need and what you don't need. All right, my bow is not in here, and I don't know what's going on here. See, sometimes everybody has issues. My bow is not staying in here. It is really weird. And I don't know if it's my ribbon that's causing it, or if it's just me not getting it in there correctly. There's so much happening in here right now. Getting even this bow in here is a lot. Let me cut some of this down. And this is whenever, now that you've got your ribbon in place, this is when you're going to start snipping away your ends and making your dovetails or whatever you do for it, slants. This is when you do it. When you find out, this is when I do it. Usually when I find out where my bow placement is so that I can cut away on my sign, thing like that, okay? So that you can see the sign. Oh, got an itchy nose. And now you can go ahead and mess with your fluffing, which I'm forever fluffing. I'm one of those ones that will stop and fluff a bow up on someone else's door. I have a thing with a love-hate relationship with bows. Okay, and let me check to make sure everything's good. Got to kind of move your bow around. Make sure you can see everything. And that's where having a wreath hanger or somewhere on your wall that you can do that, that's when that really comes into play. All right. Because you don't want your ribbon covering your sign. Okay. Let's get this up. Okay. And look how cute all of those colors are. There you go. Very quick, very easy, and 21-inch mesh can really go a long way, okay? Really helps with, you can make at least 2 wreaths out of a 21-inch if you're putting in a 10-inch like we did. And for those of you that are joining a little late, you'll be able to see what I mean with that. Okay. And like I said, you don't even need to put a sign in here. I have others where I have square signs. I've done square signs. I have done rectangle signs. This is a 12-inch sign that I put there. I've done smaller 8-inch. It doesn't even need to go into the middle. It can go out toward, I know you can see this one. Even though that's a grapevine, you could do it off to the left, to the right. It don't matter. Okay, that's it. Super easy though, and you don't even have to have a sign. Take a bow, use a bow, and then just all of your ribbon tails. Just as beautiful. It's just as beautiful without the sign. Yep. But that's easy. That's it. That's easy. Deco mesh is so easy. And look how nice and thick and full that is. There is no gapping, no holes, and that's what you want. And you can go around and refluff your ribbon tails, because I see these are a little wonky from me moving them. So I'll go around and I'll fix those up just so that they look nice. So that's it. Pretty colors for summer. And when you get pictures, make sure that your ribbon, your bows, everything is on point, okay? Making sure that you fluffed it all nicely, that it looks good, because a picture says 1,000 words. It really does. You want everything to be nice. That's why, you know, I have a love-hate relationship with ribbon. I am forever fluffing it. So if I come to your house and your ribbon on your wreath on your front door looks horrible, you probably, when you open the door, I'm fluffing your ribbon. I'd be that girl, okay? So I'm the one that will be doing that. Let me go around. I want to make sure all of my ribbon looks pretty. And make sure with your ribbon tails that your colors are alternated in your fluffing. So you don't want your blues all stuck together such as this. You want to make sure that you're alternating those colors. And don't be afraid to pull on them. Okay. Oh, there we go. Alrighty, that's it. So go grab some 21-inch mesh. You can really fill up a wreath really quickly. Wreath forms, you can get them right over at craftoutlet.com. Oh, my computer died. I can't see any comments. So you can get those over there. And that's it. That's it. You don't even need to do a sign if you don't want to. Just fill it up with the ribbon tails, a bow, and it's beautiful. Okay? All right. I can't see no comments or anything, so I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something new. And I am going to get out of here. I have a doctor's appointment in about a half an hour. So I will talk to you later. And you all be blessed and have a great day.